Noel, and I did my report as a recommendation report on carbohydrate loading. So I'd like to start by asking how many of you guys know what carbo loading is? Okay, so how many of you guys have actually used it? Awesome. Can I ask how long the duration of your carbohydrate started?
It was just when I was in high school, I ran track, so
Okay.
we'd get together before meets and eat a ton of
So
spaghetti.
a day before? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like a day or two.
Let's go. So I guess a little brief overview for those that don't know, this is the basic. So it's very important for athletes that engage in intense and continuous endurance activities to do this. So the carbs that they consume turns into sugar in the body, and this is what provides energy. So when they carbo load, this is their way of maximizing this energy store in their body for later use to maintain their performance. So for marathon, so they can tap into this excess energy source and keep going. My research question was, what is the best carbohydrate loading method for endurance athletes? And I based it on three things: performance level, what will achieve the highest performance level, what will achieve the best recovery rate, and what will achieve the fewest sustained injuries. So following those three things, I looked at the three most popular methods: 1 day carbohydrate loading method, and the 3 day and the 6 day. So taking a look, for the 1 day, you take the day before the event, you rest, and you consume double the recommended amount, so it's 10 to 12, and that means 10 to 12 grams of carbs per kilogram of your weight. The next one, the 3 day, so now you have a tapering in your training, so it goes from 60 minutes to 30 minutes, but also the same as the first one is rest before your event, and the carbohydrate intake is also the same, 10 to 12 grams per kilogram. Now for the 6 day carbohydrate loading, you can see that there's more tapering now. There's from 90 minutes to 20 minutes to rest before your event day. And the carbohydrate intake actually is so you begin with 3 days of normal intake, 4 to 5 grams, and then the final 3 days is when you really begin to carbo load. However, the intensity of the training stays the same. So my hypothesis is I think the 6 day carbohydrate loading is the best, and why is this? Because of the tapering duration in it, and this allows for the gradual absorption of carbohydrates that you're taking in. So about me, I'm a nutrition major, and I've always had an interest in athlete health and nutrition. I also have a goal of, I don't know how realistic this is, but to complete a marathon next summer, and then within 5 years to participate in a triathlon. My rhetorical situation is I'm an athlete's nutrition consultant here at the U, and it's response to athletes using carbohydrate loading methods here, but without medical clearance or without physician consultation beforehand, and this can introduce negative effects because you can go on the internet, type in Google how to carbo load, but maybe it won't be proper, and there's so many results, how do you know which one is the best? So it's a response to that. And the research sources that I used was a lot of electronic sources, so a lot of online articles from the library tool that we have. I used a survey from my empirical source. My methodology was, so I took each criteria and I tried to look for what method enhanced each criteria to its best potential. And for my survey, I was limited because I only received 37 responses. However, from all those responses, I targeted the group that self-reported that they were stayed active daily, and that they were part of a sports team here at the U. So the results from the survey I thought was interesting because the majority didn't think the 1 day carbohydrate loading protocol was the best. The percentage is a lot lower than the 3 day and the 6 day protocol. However, even though I found it was interesting that those that thought the 6 day carbohydrate protocol led to better results still picked the 3 day as personal preference on what they would do, and it kind of just came down to, well, it's 3 days as opposed to 6, and they didn't want to take the extra time. So the rest of my results. So for performance level, I discovered that the long duration carbohydrate intake was the best for overall performance. I learned that from the Wahlberg article that if you choose a carbohydrate method that was several days before your event, you build up your muscle glycogen storage. You replenish that storage. Whereas if you waited a few hours, so like maybe with the 1-day protocol, only a few hours before your event, you replenish the liver glycogen storage. And for ideally an athlete, you want to replenish the muscle glycogen storage. And this is what promotes endurance and the best performance from you. For recovery rate, an article suggested the importance of establishing a good body carbohydrate synthesis before your event. And this helps with post-event carbohydrate absorption, is when your recovery kicks in. And this promotes protein synthesis and reduces protein degradation, so your tissue can repair better this way. For sustained injuries, another article expressed that with a long carbohydrate duration method, with a tapering involved, your body is being conditioned slowly, and so it doesn't receive all this shock. So too much carbohydrates too quickly will put your body into stress, your muscle stress, and this will make you more prone to injuries. And also, if you, say, use the 1-day protocol, which is only a few hours before your race or event, it can also cause intestinal distress. And this is because the blood taking from your gastrointestinal tract, that it's helping your stomach digest whatever food is left in there, it's being redirected from that to your muscles that you're now using for your race. So a lot of athletes can experience nausea that comes with that. So taking all of that into consideration, my final recommendation is the 6-day. And this is because there's that strong correlation with the long duration of carbohydrate intake with high glycogen storage, high glycogen muscle storage, which is what is the most important key point in here. And then with that, it also allows your body to condition with better absorption post the event, and this way you can recover faster. And for sustained injuries, again with the tapering effect, your body gets minimal shock and minimal stress on the muscles. Thanks for listening to my presentation. Any questions?
Hi, this is Mary. I was just wondering if in your studies that you researched, was there any mention of the specific types of carbohydrates that athletes are using?
Actually, yes, there was, but I limited my presentation to, or my report on just duration. But yes, it's actually very important too.
Did they say which ones were most recommended?
They actually did recommend, I guess, the high carbohydrates, but less fat, definitely, because your body should be processing just carbs and not like all that fat built up. So, yeah.
All right, this is Ashley. I guess my question is like when, how you were talking about the gastrointestinal distress whenever you carbo load or eat a lot of carbs like before a race. Would you say that that might be included in a study for like elementary and middle school kids when they will eat lunch before they run the mile and they just all puke afterwards because they have gym right after lunch?
I don't remember that point in my life, but that would be an interesting research, definitely. So maybe, restructure that gym process so the kids don't puke after. Yes?
This is Kyla. To go off of Mary's question, I'm wondering, what foods contain, high carbohydrates? Because you said high carbohydrate foods, but, what kind of foods did it recommend? Is it breads and pastas?
It really is. So I think it also goes into more detail what kind of pasta, so maybe whole wheat or something, rather than white. So something like that, yeah.
This is Calder. Did anything you studied or anything you researched say anything about consecutive sporting events or competitions where you might have one competition every single weekend or something like that?
Yeah, so that's why it's kind of difficult. There's the drawbacks with the 6 days. So if your event is one day after another, then you have to kind of restructure that to have carbohydrates intakes in between that to promote that. Because so maybe before your first event day, do the 6 day, but then within that, keep taking carbohydrates to replenish the glycogen storage.
This is Lindsay. Do you ever personally have a chance to do those methods on your own?
Actually, before so this is why I'm interested. So I've only done 5 days or something small. So I've never done anything larger, and so I didn't think it was necessary to go this far. I wasn't even aware. I did the 3 day, and that was about it. But with a marathon or a triathlon, you should probably consider it more.